To close out the Utah Jazz and finally bring the Warriors above 500, Wardell Stephen Curry put on a show in last night's fourth quarter with 5 threes and generated a lot of easy offense. He's made 27 threes in the last 3 games and continues the legend of his gravity. So let's review. We're in the middle of the fourth. It's a 9-point game, so the Warriors can't relax just yet, but they want to exploit something that the Jazz have shown this game they're not great at, which is screen navigation. So to do that, they're going to go to one of their favorites, which is the split action. That's going to begin with an entry pass into the post and pretty much always follows with a screen from the passer at or above the elbow and a shooter running in past that screen into an open shot. There's a lot of variations of this that they run, but this one is pretty standard. Notice that Moody gets pretty good contact onto Jordan Clarkson and also ends up getting pretty good contact onto John Collins, which leaves Steph wide open, and that's a practice shot. So for what it's worth, you absolutely cannot allow it to be this easy. And the Warriors rarely get good looks like this on their split action, but I think it's a good example of what the Jazz can improve on. So Steph is starting to smell blood in the water here. He just got a pretty easy 3, and this time TJD is going to come set a screen, which ends up switching John Collins onto Steph. And you'll notice that as soon as this switch happens, as soon as TJD begins to run into this open space, all it takes is a second of hesitation. He's not up. Steph is already in the shooting motion, and that's a ridiculous long-range 3. So when you're the type of shooter that Steph Curry is, you tend to draw extra attention in ball screens since both the on-ball defender and the screener's defender are worried about your shot. Mobile bigs like TJD can often take advantage of this. So TJD is going to set this really high ball screen for Steph. Keontae George and John Collins are going to spend just a bit too long worrying about Steph, which allows TJD to run into all of this space. And that's a tough finish on Lauri Markkanen, but still pretty easy offense. So if you thought that last bucket was cool, we're going to run it back again. This time the screen's going to be flipped. And now John Collins and Keontae George are both going to be a bit more aggressive on this trap. But Steph has made this over the double hook pass a million times. And he easily gets TJD, who, keep in mind, has this empty space right here, which means that the only person who can help is Jordan Clarkson in this corner, but TJD is too big and gets the N1. So if you notice anything watching this game, it's that the Jazz are not great in transition. They get cross-matched, they forget their assignments, pretty much everything you want to avoid against deadly transition shooters like the Splash Brothers. Pay attention in particular this play to Colin Sexton's positioning and actions. He's right now, you can see him pointing towards TJD, and that's because he wants John Collins, who looks like he wants to match up on Steph, to actually cover TJD, who's going to try and fill this. And you can actually see that TJD is pointing towards the sky. Maybe he's faking against the Jazz, but it looks like he wants to catch a lob. But the mistake that's made here is not necessarily that John Collins tries to cover TJD. It's that Colin Sexton backpedals way too much. For most shooters in the league, you might be safe if you're standing at the arc. But against Steph Curry, all it takes is 1 foot inside and you're toast. So remember earlier when it's TJD who set that drag screen on the opposite wing. Now it's Draymond who's going to set this screen right here. But this time, there's no double, right? Keontae George stays with Draymond. And all it takes, once again, is a little bit of mispositioning. He's maybe a half step from where he should be. He can't get the contest in time. Steph absolutely is going to shoot this with how hot he is. And that's another ridiculous 3. So these threes are flowing a bit too easy for Steph and the Warriors. They want to challenge themselves. They want to spice it up here with a delay set. All delay means is that we have this trailing big at the top. This time it's a small ball five in Dre, who can receive a pass and then dish it out to whatever comes of the actions that will be run on the sides here. The Warriors run delay a lot with Draymond, and it's pretty common in modern five-out offenses. So Clay's going to begin by taking this middle drive. Notice already that Colin Sexton is standing with his feet planted here. His original man is Steph, who you can already see begin to leak out. But Colin Sexton is giving up on Steph, presumably to help out on this Clay drive because Keontae George is already a step behind. But Draymond is basically going to instantly receive this ball and instantly point to this corner. That's because the whole plan all along was for Andrew Wiggins to come here, set this exit screen for Steph to run around into the corner. You can see that Colin Sexton already knows he's made a mistake as he's actually pointing right now to Lauri Markkanen to get Steph, who's running out to this corner. But unfortunately, Andrew Wiggins sets a great exit screen right here. Steph is already open for the three, and that's just easy offense as Steph hits his fifth three in 5 minutes. So we weren't going to show this last clip, but I think Lauri Markkanen's movements here do a good example of showing you how the Splash Brothers can be deadly on the floor together, especially in transition. So GP2 is going to make a great pass to Clay, but the Jazz have already made a mistake here since Clarkson and Sexton are both going to end up in the paint, and that forces Lauri to defend both of the Splash Brothers. What I want you to watch is how many stunts, how many lurches Lauri makes as he struggles to decide who to defend. 1, 2, 3, and then he realizes it was Clay all along. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more film reviews just like this.